Yo, what's going on, sexy YouTube individuals and Dragon Ball Z enthusiasts out there? This is your boy RBG, aka the Random Black Gamer, coming back at you with another Dragon Ball Xenoverse analogy video. Today's video is going to be about Japan Expo 2014's Dragon Ball Xenoverse panel, where they showed more gameplay than we got before. Now, first and foremost, I would like to say that there's always going to be a little trial and error, guys. That's the way a game is perfected. So before you give any harsh criticism on how the game looks right now from this visual standpoint, keep in mind that this is an alpha version of the game, meaning that it's an early build of the game. The game comes out around 2015, but there's still not an actual release date, so it might be released at the beginning of 2015, the spring, or even the fall. So there's still a little more room for refinement and optimization until we get a better final product. Now, the first thing that I would like to note is the guys that are testing the game's actual gameplay don't seem to be playing on a next generation console. Now, if you look closer, you can see that these guys are playing with PlayStation 3 controllers. I'm not sure if the PlayStation 3 controller was a preference, or if they were uncomfortable using the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One controller, or if they're actually playing on the previous generation consoles, being the PS3 and the Xbox 360. I'm not really sure what's going on here, guys, but the only thing I can say is this doesn't take anything away from the visual presentation if it is being played on the previous gen consoles. This is still an early build of the game, so whatever DIMPS or Namco Bandai decides to do if it comes to playing with a different controller or a previous generation controller is on them. I'm not going to make any assumptions that leads me to believe that this is being played on the PlayStation 3. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this game feels a lot like the Tenkaichi series in terms of the visual presentation. For one, the characters are moving more freely and they're doing things that you wouldn't see from an actual DIMPS game when it pertains to Dragon Ball Z. You know, DIMPS, we've always gotten the 2D perspective from them with a little bit of 3D mixture blended in, but we still haven't seen a full-on 3D game from DIMPS, this being the first. And it feels like they borrowed a lot from the Spike developers in terms of the actual gameplay, because the characters, they have a lock-on system now, they're moving more freely around the 3D environment, and also the movesets themselves look like they've been taken and borrowed from the Spike Tenkaichi franchise. Now, this really is a mixed bag for me. You know, it really has me on the fence, because Tenkaichi, even though it's one of my favorite games, I think it's one of my least favorite games in terms of its actual gameplay and how the fleshed out characters were up in the game itself. You know, Tenkaichi 3 would always be my favorite, and a lot of other favorites along with Tenkaichi 2. But the actual individuality and the feel of the characters pretty much felt like a mesh of like the same variety. You know, you pretty much have the same flavor with each character. You know, you get the cookie cutter flurry of kicks like we get a chance to see Goku display up in this video footage, where Goku just throws his kicks randomly. Feels a lot like the Tenkaichi series, and those characters were pretty much copy and paste cookie cutter characters with those move sets. Now, I'm hoping that you get a chance to customize each character's moves to your liking and give them a different variety of moves and stitch those moves in a way, because this could play out well, because unlike Tenkaichi, DIMPS does have their movesets that can be stitched in different orders and, you know, played with different ways and canceled out. So maybe they're going for that approach. Maybe they're going to better polish the Tenkaichi system's mechanics. What I'm really excited for is the actual free run system. The free run system looks like it's going to get you fully involved in the actual environment. It's going to play off of a more strategic approach and get the characters to use the environment to their advantage. And it's also going to get me from point A to point B. Unlike the Tenkaichi system, the Tenkaichi system's movements kind of felt a little clunky and a little slow, and when the characters moved towards their opponents, it felt like they were moving like they didn't have a soul, because they didn't actually touch the ground when they moved. They pretty much hovered to the character, and the only way that you can get there faster is if you did the dragon homing attack or the actual dash to get to your opponents in a faster way. Now, for some strange reason, a lot of people are under the accusation that this game is pretty much copying off of the Battle of Z's free running system, but that's not necessarily the case, because if you guys know about any other Dragon Ball Z, the first time free running was actually introduced was up in the Dragon Ball Z Zenkai Battle Royale. That's right, folks, they were the first. They were the first to introduce the free running aspect instead of mindlessly floating to your opponents. One thing that Battle of Z tried to do was implement this certain style, but there were certain features that they didn't want to include because they did not want it to be an exact replica of Zenkai Battle Royale, such as the team combo attacks like holding your opponent down so another opponent can deliver a special or energy blast to the opponent. One thing that I think that DIMPS is really trying to sell home here is a new thing that the American as well as any other Western audience other than Japan has ever experienced before, because Zenkai Battle Royale is a Japanese only game that's only in arcades. So I think this is very generous of them to actually include this style of gameplay. And hopefully we do have those kind of combo attacks where your teammate will help you hold down your opponent to deliver a devastating attack. Because in some screens you can see that there are multiple characters on the screen at once, you know, kind of hinting at that they will have like a more cooperative style of gameplay instead of just one-on-one. You guys know my favorite saying, the possibilities are endless, so I'm not going to write anything out of this scenario. There's no denying that DIMPS is the nucleus of Dragon Ball Z games. They are pretty much the building block that breathes new life into these games, and they're the main reason why these games have flourished bigger and better than ever. Now I know this is going to be a little off the cuff and off topic, but if you guys notice, YouTube has been getting a big facelift on their interface. Unbeknownst to some of you guys, YouTube is actually going to be opting for 60 frames per second for those future videos that you want to upload. Now, if you guys know that YouTube pretty much hinders and compresses the shit out of our videos, making it only run from 24 to 30 frames per second and not giving us the full native resolution. And considering the fact that this game is going to be released on the next gen consoles, it's most likely that it's going to be played in 60 frames per second. Now, in my opinion, frame rates are very critical. This is something that we need to have in a precise manner, because when I play a game and I experience it in the comfort of my own home, I'm looking at it from the best presentation possible. And that's one thing that I'm very dedicated to with you guys. I want you guys to actually experience the stuff that I'm experiencing. I really don't think a lot of people understand how frames are very important, but here's a basic gist of why they are and why they are very essential. When you have a game, like especially a fighting game, frames are very quintessential to what you need, because if you want to put these certain button input commands and you want to execute things properly, the best way to do that is to have proper frames, because if you only have such as 30 frames per second, you're not going to be able to get like a full responsive combo that you want. But when you have 60 frames, you're able to see stuff better and you're able to actually input button commands a lot better. I'm not saying that this is going to be implemented in this game, since they are having multi-plats, you know, including the last generation consoles. But if they do, DIMPS will be doing us a huge favor, especially the people that own next gen consoles. They will be doing the next gen console owners a huge favor. But getting back on topic, I would like to analyze the heads up display, or the overall energy bar, the health bar, and the secondary bars. Now, this is something that Bandai Namco has been very tight-lipped about, but they're now letting us get a glimpse of what this has to offer. Now, one thing that I have to say is I don't really know full in detail on what these bars actually do, so I'm only just going off of my visual perceptions, just going off what I see and what I notice the characters are doing and how the energy bars interact with the characters. For one, I can say that the yellow bar actually indicates that it's going to be used morely towards the key energy blast and the specials and the transformations of the characters. If you notice, when Goku performs a special technique or some kind of energy blast, the yellow bar seems to deplete itself. And I also noticed when you do a melee attack or any other kind of combo performed successfully, the energy bar automatically starts to fill itself back up. And another thing that I noticed about the yellow bar is that when Goku has a full yellow bar, he can do a transformation. So I'm thinking that the yellow bar is mainly going to be used for key based and special attacks. As far as the secondary green bar is concerned, I think that's going to be used more for a defensive maneuver. Anytime you see Goku do an evasive teleportation when Vegeta tries to deliver an attack, the bar starts to deplete afterwards. So that's making me believe that the green bar is going to play mostly towards your dashing techniques, your defensive techniques, and some of your teleportation techniques, while the yellow bar sort of plays towards your energy based key techniques. Now, the big elephant in the room, the big deal that we really wanted to look at, was the health bar. Now, the health bar, it pretty much serves as it served in all the other Dragon Ball Z games. I could pretty much give an indication that we are going to have multiple health bars, because as you can see, Goku has a blue bar. Now, if a lot of you guys have noticed, such in previous carnations, such as the Dragon Ball Z Budokai series and the Tenkaichi series, The blue bar pretty much indicates that you have an ample amount of energy left and you can endure a lot more damage than your opponent. Now Vegeta, on the other hand, he's supporting an orange bar, indicating that he doesn't really have that much life in him left and he's probably going to get beat down to the ground. One thing that I'm concerned about is how long the battles are going to last. You know, is the duration going to be pretty lengthy or is it going to be short? Because in the technical demos, they only had a certain amount of time, at least 2 minutes to actually show the characters fight, and they would have to end it abruptly. And, you know, and I'm thinking that maybe the energy blasts are going to be more devastating and take a lot more damage. I don't know if they're just keeping everything away from us and being tight-lipped, so we won't see a lot of what the game has to offer since it is in this alpha stage. I don't know. I'm just hoping that we have a long durated match to where I can do more strategic moves, such as doing a solar flare and hiding from my opponents. The character personalities seem to be intact and I'm very excited. Cell seems to be more like his arrogant jerk-off self. He's doing a lot of things that we would see him do in the anime. I'm really digging Cell's combo, guys. Like, I was very stoked when I saw this, and that made me even more hyped to get the game. When Cell actually got into a combo and he transitioned into something that really mirrored his animated counterpart. When he just teleported and bitch slapped Goku back into the background, that was pure epicness. It kind of pays homage to that episode where Hercule tries to punch Cell just to ultimately get bitch slaps and get what he deserved. You know, it kind of plays off of that. I am very excited about this, guys. Tell me what you think. And guys, if you could, let's at least get 100 likes on this video and share this video. But also, it doesn't have to be a like, it can be a dislike. I just ask that you guys give me your overall feel on this video and give me your feedback on what you think. And also, tell me what you want to see and things that I didn't notice up in the video. It's good to actually have people talk about it. This is a big community and I love interacting with you guys. Like always, this is your boy RBG, aka the Random Black Gamer, reminding you guys to stay fresh, stay thirsty for more Dragon Ball Z properties, and stay cool. I will catch you guys later on the next video. Peace out.